Q's on Twitter yet?
It is. Let's see. Um, Not yet.
Not yet. Gotcha. All right. What about now?
Mm, Yep.
All right. Looks good. All right. Let's do this thing in five, four, three, two, and one. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Up Podcast. I'm your host, Famously Guarded, and joined by my co-host Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, we are recapping the NFL Draft, the 2025 NFL Draft, and what it was and what we saw. And yeah, sure, it had our had some of us puzzled. I'm not gonna lie, it had some of us puzzled after a certain amount of time, and even in the early stages of things. So we'll break that down, and then also we're going to talk about the spring game. We didn't get to really talk about the spring game yet, since we had our different guests that came through with Xavier Kurtz, and of course we had John Vogel as well from the NFL Draft side of things, which he hit that Demetrius Knight thing pretty hard. So he hit
Mhm.
that nail on the head. So all right, Q, let's start the spring game. We went there, you and I, we were there. We saw, what we were looking for, and some guys out there really stood out, man. Some guys really stood out. And then, of course, there were times that you can't overreact because of certain scenarios, right? The way things were set up, especially the offensive line.
Right.
And so, things like these that, like that were happening. And we just, we saw what we needed, though, right? Gabriel Brenlo Dindy, a guy that we're really watching out for,
Markel
looked
Goodwine, all those.
solid.
So for the spring game part and a good recap and everything with that, we we needed to make sure we had depth. The biggest thing was there's a few things I was looking for. I know a lot of people wanted to know. How is that D tackle room going to look? Do we have depth at and the positions that we need? Is the linebacker core look the part and can they play the part? How we're going to rotate on the secondary? Is O line good? Those type things. So biggest takeaways I had from it: one, the D tackle room is better than a lot of people are expecting. I think that room actually has improved tremendously. If I'm going to be 110% honest, I think that room is very, very good, extremely good. I cannot express enough how good that room actually is. I also believe the tight end room's a lot deeper than a lot of people give him credit. We can go four deep at the tight end room currently
Mm-hmm.
when you have Dingle, you have Michael Smith, you have Brady Hunt, and you have Mo Brown. I think all four of those guys could contribute and play well. I think a lot of people read too much into the offensive line. I think a lot of plays were let go because Lenore's needed to get a little run in, get a little, work in.
Yeah.
But he also had three walk-ons on the offensive line that he played with in the game. So I can't really fault him for not, looking Superman spectacular, but I'm also not worried about him and what he's able to do because Lenore Sellers is Lenore Sellers no matter what. That secondary is probably the strongest unit we have on the team. That back four, back five is absolutely insanely deep, insanely talented. You're gonna miss Nick Iminwari. You're gonna miss OD Fortune, but I can't lie. Brian Cisse is who he said he is from North Carolina State. Miles Norwood is an excellent depth piece when you have the corner part. Demarcus Leach, let me give him a shout out. Six
Mm.
four corner who looked really well out there at the corner position, to be quite honest with you. I think a year or two to development, and hey, man, that's a first round draft pick if I've ever seen one. I am thoroughly impressed with the linebacker room. Jerron Willis, I want to give him a shout out. A guy that's been very forgotten, I feel like, but he looked the part. He looked the part now. He looks like a solid SEC linebacker size-wise, and I think this year he's going to show a lot. Fred Johnson was flying around there. Sean Murphy looked really good. Justin O, from the transfer from Alabama, looked good. I think that's a deep room. I think that room can rotate four, and I think we will be successful with the four we rotate. Donovan Darden is nice. I mean, anyone knows me. I'm extremely high on that guy. Another guy, once again, I'm extremely high on AJ Holloway. I love AJ Holloway. I love AJ Holloway. I love AJ Holloway. He's built for SEC linebacker. As long as he can pick up the playbook, I think he has a chance to be special.
Yeah.
The defensive edge room looks good. Desmond Umanzulu took the step I needed to see.
Yep.
Desmond looks absolutely amazing out there. I thought that was huge for us. I thought that was a main thing that we needed to also see when we went to the game, because I really believe he's going to be key in the rotation this year, if not get a starting position in it. So I am big on him right now. I'm huge on him.
Yeah, we saw that speed that, a lot of people have been talking about, especially with Umanzulu and JT Gear.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the healthiest we've seen Gear since he's been at South Carolina, right? Let's get through the spring, man, and let's, get into kickoff mode. And if we get this kind of healthy, JT Gear with his pep in his step, hey, man, like that's massive. You talk about Quay, right? Our guy Quay, your freshman.
My boy.
Hey, buddy.
My boy.
Quay Dodd.
He looks nice.
I'm
telling you, I think the thing is, a lot of people are like, well, you're going to take a step back. I mean, look at the draft. We got a lot of pieces drafted. The starting four of that defensive line will be talked about because every last one of them would have gotten drafted. When Dylan's turn is, he's going to get drafted. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. And so you look at that group and you look at what's going on, and it's absolutely humongous. It's insane how big this is, man. This is insane how important this is. And I'm intrigued to see how we play, especially offensive wise. I think we have a lot of weapons. The freshman wide receivers looked amazing. Malik Clark with a back shoulder catch. Brian Rowe, Jesus. If I'm telling everybody right now, Brian Rowe, if he was 6'2", 200 pounds, he would have been a 5-star plus recruit. He would have been a 5-star plus recruit. He just gets it. He has a knack to get to the ball. Jaden Sellers did the same thing. Lex Cyrus had a okay time. There were some things he has to work on, but that's fine. That's Jordan Gidron has the speed that everyone has been looking for and talked about. And it looks like he's starting to get back healthy and be back to where he needs to be. And this is all without Donovan Murphy stepping foot on the field yet. So I said this before, and I'll say this again. We don't need another wide receiver. We literally have the talent that we need to have in that room. Mazio didn't play. Nick Harbor was out there a little bit running around, but he really didn't have to prove anything, because I know from the reports that's come out of camp and come out of spring practice, that cat has improved so much in this off season, especially with him not having to go between track and football. It has helped him a ton.
Yeah.
And I can tell his route running has gotten better, and those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we replace Nick. Does Jalen Kilgore move over and we put Cisse at nickel, or Jalewis Solomon at nickel? When Vakari gets back, one of our better safeties as well, or not better corners as well. Michael Smith healthy and will be big for us as well. The Jalen Brown is going to be huge for us as well, the transfer from Missouri. He's a really good ball player, really good run stopper. He's learning his pass, his attack on, rushing. But if he's able to lock down, if the person opposite of Dylan Stewart able to help Dylan, like Kyle Kennard was, we're back where we need to be. Markel Goodwine has shown vast improvement from last year. Nick Barrett looked really good as well. Xavier Hardy is coming along. Miles is doing well too. Nice. He's going to be good. When Caleb Williams gets healthy, that's going to be another one that's going to be really good. That freshman, and I'm looking forward to Ingram getting in too. So you're looking at a 4 to 6 man deep defensive tackle room, which is what we ideally need. And so all around, I'm very happy with what I saw. Very, very, very happy. I think depth wise, we definitely needed depth, and we've kind of addressed that with the portal acquisitions. You're not looking for guys to, you know, start. You're just looking for guys to help in the long run, and that's what uh, Clowney's gonna do, and that's what Wilson will do.
Mm-hmm.
That's those are things that you'll see them do, especially if Brown gets healthy. That's going to be huge for us. So because you're gonna need that rotation. That rotation is what saved you last year. That rotation is what's going to help you this year,
Yeah.
especially on both lines. Offensive line the same way. I'm very proud of Tree. Tree Babalati, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Tro Ball as well. I love those two guys. I'm glad they've come along. I can see that, especially if we get the recruit that's on campus now. I could see him really fighting for that right tackle spot along with Shivers, along with Henry,
Yeah.
and providing that depth. That once again, this goes back to depth. You need depth on these offensive lines, on the defensive line. The closer you are to the ball, the more depth you need, in my personal opinion. And so another one, shout out Cutter Woods. Cutter showed me something. Cutter has a moxie to him. The kid's
Mm-hmm.
uh, a junkie for the game. He's a ball hawk. He's got some moxie to him, and I like that about Cutter. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out as well. And I'm genuinely am looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I'm big on that. So those are things that I saw. I saw a defense that's still fast, a defense that still moves good. I saw an offense that, you got players that knows what they're doing. Dingle will be a good safety net as well. But those freshman wide receivers showed me something, and I was really impressed with them. Really impressed with them. So that was my observation from it.
Yeah, no. As far as some other things going on, obviously Mazio didn't play. Jalen Kilgore's dealing with a hamstring right now, so we're waiting to see how that goes. I talked with him the other day about that, so we'll see, where that goes with that. Look, running back, we talked about RB1 and man, Rizul Faison. As soon as we get him cleared, the better. I mean, it's not like I don't believe it's going to happen, right? I don't think we're not going to get him cleared. It's just the fact of the matter having to wait. And for South Carolina fans having to wait for the NCAA, that's a whole
Mhm.
nother story, right? Let's
Yeah.
call it how it is. South Carolina has been screwed by the NCAA and more times than not.
Yeah.
And but like I said, I don't foresee them not getting the eligibility and not playing. I don't see that happening because with everything they're dealing with right now, the NCAA can afford that. Honestly, I mean, not to them because they're losing every case it seems like right now against
Hmm.
independent players. So, anyways, once Faison is named number one running back, you'll see it, right? I talked to his teammate Jalen Royals that was just drafted the NFL draft here this past weekend, and that's a guy. He said, "Look, man, Faison is a team guy, and he's sneaky fast. He's a guy. He's a bruiser. He's not like rocket fast, but he's quick. He's
Hmm.
quick. The biggest thing about him is his shiftiness, right? He can shift around pretty quick. Somebody I wouldn't want to play, tag against. Let's put it that way. The guy's
Hmm. Yeah.
really, really shifty. But wide receivers, you talked about it. Brian Rowe, Donovan Murphy. We talked about that at the South Carolina Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame, and and he was, he received his award, and he said, "Look," he said, "B Rowe's going to cook." And that's what he said. He said, "Look, man," he said, "this weekend B Rowe's going to cook," and he did. Brian Rowe absolutely cooked. He absolutely did. And that
Hmm.
is a guy I do agree. If he was a little taller, yeah, he'd been a 5-star prospect. I could absolutely see that. I
Yeah,
could
for sure.
absolutely see that. Once you get Murph on though, man, that's a guy that is very aggressive, and I can't wait till he's on campus.
I agree with that. And
I really
going
can.
back to running back, man, Matthew Fuller was a bowling ball. I think that was something a
Yeah,
lot of people
yeah.
didn't get to see. Matthew Fuller, he can play, flat out play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jawan Howell and I mean, all the running backs. I'm a big fan of that room. I think that room's
Yeah,
structured really well. You have two backs of the future in Fuller and Howell. I think those guys are
yep.
going to take over soon after, with Faison and Attaway being their last years. I think those guys will take over soon. But I'm a fan of that running back room. Running back room's a nice
It's
room.
it's a strong room, man. It really is. It's really strong all around this team. The offensive line. There are a couple injury questions there. I guess the biggest one is Casey Henry. How long is he truly out? People don't know. He was, I believe, in a walking boot, if I'm not mistaken.
Think so.
If I can remember correctly, yeah, or
Think
on a
so.
scooter, one of the two. So we did see that. Can't really hide it when you're toting around. I think Brubaker as well was
Yeah,
one
I
of
think
them.
Brubaker might be
Also,
out for the year.
he can't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I feel
I
bad
don't.
for the guy, man. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, he's never been healthy since he's been in South Carolina.
That's facts. So I feel
He's
really
never
bad
been
for him.
healthy. Um, After all that was said and done, even before and after the spring game, we lost Emory Floyd. Emory Floyd went to Appalachian State. He's now with Dow Loggins, and then Cam Pringle. Cam Pringle, he left South Carolina, hit the portal. So
It's my guy too, man. Me and Cam,
yeah,
man. That's my guy, man. That's my guy. But I understand when you wanna compete, you wanna compete, man.
sure,
And another one, Jakai Moore, uh,
yep, yep,
huge personality. Was on the pod. I'm gonna root for him wherever he goes. He deserves nothing but the
yeah,
best. He deserves nothing but the best. That one hurt a lot. That one hurt a
mm,
lot because I felt like Jakai has earned it. He's earned it. He's
he has.
genuinely earned it, and he's just been the injury bug has really hindered him in his
It,
career.
it's the injury bug, and sometimes, man, fresh legs will beat you. I mean, it's simple as that, and that's going to lead us into a point here in the NFL draft when we talk about that and these returners and what that kind of hampered in this NFL draft. We'll get to that here shortly. You know, overall, man, I think this team is solid. A lot of people were kind of discouraged by the offense, right? Of course, you're going to be during a spring game. You can never please anybody. Of course, it's just not going to happen. People did ask questions. Why was there a trick play called in this one? Well, that was actually a trick play that was done by 107.5 The Game. I guess they were authorized to call a play in this game, and therefore that's what happened. That play with Lenoris and Brian Rowe, I believe it was, to Jordan Dingle. So that trick play was happened because of 107.5 The Game. So there's your answer there for the people that were wondering why there was a trick play in that one. There you go. There you go. You got your answer. You got your answer. I was interested, man, when we were watching the game, the challenges that were going on, the field goal challenge, right? Mason Love, he's showing that he can do it all.
Kid's good.
He showed that he can do it all. And
He's
Kai
got a
clearly
leg on
told
him.
us, man.
He's got a
Yeah,
leg on
Kai
him.
told us, yeah.
He's got a leg
So
on him.
it was that was good to see. That was great to see.
I agree.
That
I
was
agree.
great to see.
Yeah, he's gonna be one. He's gonna be a problem next year. He's going whether it's on punting or whether it's on kicking. That cat's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
That cat's gonna be good. And I'm a fan of his. He's gonna be solid. It's all about game pressure, in my personal opinion, when it comes to him and what he's gonna be able to do. But that game pressure is gonna be the biggest thing for him right now. But if he's good under pressure and all that, oh man, he's gonna be one
He's
for
gonna
the
be golden.
ages.
Yeah,
He's
no
gonna be one
doubt.
for the ages.
I do agree, man. You learned under Kai, and Kai's, the best of the best out there, man. He's one of the best kickers we've ever had at South Carolina. And, he took him under his wing, right? He took
Agreed.
him under his wing.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
and, we'll move on to the draft. Q, we had a lot of guys that we were expecting to go that ultimately didn't. But let's talk about the beginning, how everything started out. We had, John on that Wednesday before. We were kind of talking about Nicky Minwari going in the first round, and we all really thought he was slotted to go in the first round. But here's the
Agreed.
thing: the NFL feels some type of way about safeties nowadays. And soon as they announced Malachi Starks, that was it. That was going to be the one safety to go in the first round. Uh, you know,
This draft was weird, man.
yeah.
It was weird, and it was weird for so many different reasons. But in my personal opinion, the biggest reason why this draft was, in my opinion, weird was because people who should have been drafted really weren't drafted, and where people were drafted. Some made sense, some didn't make sense. Like there's no reason why Joshua Simon and Rocket and Odie Fortune and Kyle Kroger all didn't get drafted. That Florida punter statistically was not better than Kai in any way, shape, form, or fashion
No.
at all.
No.
OD was better than half of the corners that were taken off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Simon led our team in receiving yards, and I want to say touchdowns too.
I believe that's correct.
And half of those tight ends, some of them didn't. I think one didn't even record a touchdown last year. That was drafted, and
Yeah.
I mean with Rocket had statistically one of his best years, and he showed he came back from the injury, which it's almost like a punishment. Like, why would he even play the year if he's showing he got back from the injury, showed he was healthy throughout he missed one game,
Mm-hmm.
an Akron game, which
Yep.
you guys wouldn't care if he played in that game or not because that's not something you would have judged him off of. Because if he was healthy for that game, Rocket gets 1K yards this year. So I'm kind of not understanding where we're at with this. I'm not understanding, and I'm genuinely not.
I mean, here's the thing. I think I have an answer, but we'll talk about that at the end. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about how the rest of the draft went. For the Gamecocks, Nick Amon-Warry went 35th overall in the second round, early day 2 pick, as expected at that point. Once he didn't go day 1,
right?
And then TJ Sanders right behind him with the Buffalo Bills, going to the Buffalo Bills at number 41. A guy that he worked his tail off, man. 3-star guy with South Carolina, and worked his tail off here with a different defensive lineman coach, defense court, different, a lot of things there, right? And he kept working and working and working. Yeah, I mean, TJ's a massive human being. He's almost a freak in nature because of how quick he is for his height, for his his size. But at the end of the day, you still have to coach me. You still got to coach him up. You still got to develop. And TJ did that, right? TJ did that. So shout out to TJ for going the 41st overall. And that's that next pick, though, in the second round. And we give props to John right now, man. He called it. He said Demetrius Knight was going to go in day 2, but in round 2. And look, Q and I thought he was going third round. We thought that was a good spot. We really thought he moved to the day 2 pick. And when they said that, when he was picked, at 49 to the Bengals, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I got serious goosebumps because you felt it. You felt it from a guy like him. You just felt it.
He meant something. I'm told you, man. That man meant something to me, man. What he did for this program, you can't put into words. You can't put into actions. You can't pay for that. You can't do anything. What he did was amazing for this program, and I'm legit thankful for what he was able to do. I can't even lie. I'm legit thankful for what he was able to do. Demetrius really, 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 really put this program on the back and put his all into this from start to finish, and so I'm thankful. So that one meant a lot, man. That was a huge one.
Yeah, that's a guy that has a family. It's very selfless, man. He only thinks about the people around him before himself at any given time.
Facts.
Any given time.
Big facts.
And so shout out to him, man. He struggled a lot and he got through it, and now he's round 2 to the Bengals, and he's got a solid future, man. He's got a solid future. So he did a lot of South Carolina, and like I said, just knowing who he is as a person, as most of us do, and it's tremendous. It really is. And I talked with him after that, and him and I we're pretty religious, as you are yourself, Q, and we talked about it. Like, he said, we talked about it. He's like, yeah, I mean, that's it, man. God, like he gets you to it. And I just, Demetrius just a great guy, and his family, and I love it so much, man. So congratulations to D Knight for doing it, man. I can't say enough about him. Now, moving on to the next pick with Kyle Kennard at 125, going to LA, going to the Chargers.
That was a steal.
It was a steal at 4th round.
He
it was a
should have
steal
been.
in the
He
fourth
should have
round.
definitely been second or third round. You got to steal at fourth round. You got a guy that got 11. He got double digit sacks, man. He got double digit
Mm-hmm.
sacks. That was huge for him. You saw
SEC
the step he
Defensive Player
took.
of the Year.
Yeah, you saw the steps he took. You saw what he did. I think it speaks volumes for itself of where he's come as a player, even from when he was at Georgia Tech. What he did this year was remarkable, and it shows the growth. You're going to get developed here. That's all it shows is you're going to get developed here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You're going to get developed.
it absolutely does. You know, in my conversation with Kyle Kennard, he always brought up Sterling Lucas and Trayvon Robinson and Coach Robinson. Always, every time. So gotta love it, man, with him and his coaching staff. And finally, the last Gamecock to go off the board was Tonka Hemingway at pick number 135, and he went to the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and that was about right. We had Tonka going in that area, and kind of thought maybe possibly it could sneak in early fourth, but nevertheless, I mean, still a strong area, right? Just a few picks behind Kyle Kennard. Tonka's going to excel out there, man. That's a guy that is going to absolutely excel out there in Las Vegas. I mean, all these guys are. Every single one of them is going to more than likely start next year. Easily.
I can see it.
Easily.
I can see it. I mean, they got in good places. They got in legit places. I mean, he's gonna get to learn. TJ's gonna get to learn behind Oliver. You got Tonka, who's a tweener, so Max Crosby can help him out a lot with that. Nicky Mwori is filling a void that Seattle's needed for a long time since they had Cam Chancellor.
Yep.
Kyle Kennard, like I said, learning from Bosa, gonna be able to feed off that like he did when it came to Dylan. And Knight, I mean, he's a hustler, man. He's gonna find a way to be on that field. He's gonna find a way to make things happen. So overall, it was a great draft for the Gamecocks. I just feel like it should have been, instead of 5, it should have been 9.
It should have been more. It should have been more. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about the free agents and where they landed. Bam Martin Scott, as soon as the draft was over, this was already in the works, man. Bam Martin Scott, right down 77 to the Carolina Panthers, where he's
gonna be a
signed with
special
them.
team animal. He's gonna be an animal on special teams. He's gonna be an animal on special teams.
I mean, special teams, he's gonna find himself in that rotation in the linebacker room. I promise you how thin that the Carolina Panthers are. I can promise you that. And then right after that, Torres Edley Simpkins, a guy we also thought would get drafted. He went to the New Orleans Saints. He's with Spencer now.
He's good. That was a good pick. That was a good pickup.
It was.
Good spot.
Alex Huntley. Alex Huntley went to the Miami Dolphins.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. Rocket Sanders, not too far after all of this, went to the LA Chargers. He went ahead and signed with the LA Chargers. So he's out there with Kyle out there in LA.
I think he'll find in that rotation. That's a good spot. I think he'll find himself in that. He'll be the bruiser in that group when it comes to running backs, I think, and especially with Jim Harbaugh and the way he wants to run the ball. With Amari Hampton, you get Rocket Sanders in there. I think you got Derwin James out there. Like, I think that's going to be a solid room for him to excel in.
Yeah. Then our guy Kai Kroger, he didn't sign anywhere yet, but however, he's got a bunch of camps that he's looking at right now. Tennessee, I'll name a couple teams: Tennessee Titans, your Philadelphia Eagles, of course, your Philadelphia Eagles, my Carolina Panthers, and the Chicago Bears. There's some other teams out there as well that he's looking at.
I could see him in Tennessee though. I think they have a void they need to fill. So
he can come here. He can go to Carolina. We got a void there too, my friend.
Oh, that's true. I think he's gonna go where the void is. He gonna know where that void is because Kai's he's elite. He's an elite punter, so I can see him being there where that void is.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina has a history of getting Carolina, punters over to the Panthers. I mean, look, Joe Charlton, man, he did pretty decent for a year or two over there. And then we got Rashawn Lee. He was going to the Chiefs at a rookie minicamp invite.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, Rashawn Lee gets a shot. News that I did want to hear personally, because I think that he could potentially take the job, is Josh Simon out to Atlanta.
Yeah, he's gonna get some PT. Yeah. Had a couple of my friends that are Atlanta Falcons. They were like, "Yo, I don't know how he didn't get drafted, but will gladly take him. He gonna grab some PT. The way he plays, I think he's gonna grab him some PT
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
absolutely agree. I hated seeing that signing as a Panthers fan. I really did. Gage Larvindane. Gage Larvindane, the wide receiver, we thought that Delvon Campbell would be a guy that we would hear before Gage, but Gage has officially signed with the Cleveland Browns. He's officially signed with Cleveland Browns.
It's a good spot. It's a good spot.
It is a good spot. To wrap it up right now, Debo Williams announced today that he is going to be at the rookie minicamp for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
With his work ethic, I could see him. I could see him getting a contract. With his work ethic, with the way he plays and stuff, I could see him getting a contract. He gonna put that work in. I could see him getting a contract, especially special teams wise. I could see it.
Mm-hmm. And one of the most, like I said, puzzling things about this draft, Odie Fortune didn't go anywhere, and it was announced today, about 2 hours ago, that we talked to Odie, and he officially signed with the Giants. He's with a G-man in New York.
I think it's a good pickup. That's a good. It is
a good pickup. He could be potentially a rival of yours soon. Q.
Yeah, I ain't worried about them as much as I am the Commanders right now. Though the Commanders drafted pretty well. Those guys are going to be dangerous. They drafted pretty well, man. That was. I knew they would, but good night, Dad. At some point, I'm like, okay, they're going to be a problem. So
it's funny you bring up the Commanders. Actually, DeAndre Jules has a workout or a mini camp invite with the Commanders.
He'll run stuff, and that's where he's from. He's from Maryland, so I think that'd be good for him.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really good for him. I like that.
I think so too. A couple of the rookie numbers right now that we have. Obviously, this is going to change or can change. Going to the season with the roster 53. TJ is set to wear number 98 for the Buffalo Bills in OTA and training camp throughout that process, and then Demetrius Knight right now is going to wear 59. 59, that is a number near and dear to my heart at the linebacker position, because the only one and great and only Luke Kuechly, one of the best linebackers to ever play the game, wore number 59. So
he was all right.
I don't want to hear that.
I've seen better.
Oh, here we go. Anyways, like I said, great, overall draft for South Carolina. We thought more names would originally come out, but I'm gonna tell you, Q, there's a thing behind that, and I was thinking about it, today, actually, really yesterday. We saw all these names go off the board, and there were so many left over, so many that weren't drafted, and you're like, well, why is that? Q, are we potentially seeing because of a transfer portal and a late, these later years being granted, right? These other guys that are 25, 26 that are coming out to play in the NFL that are getting drafted. Are we seeing a jam up here? Are we seeing like a traffic jam? Like there's nowhere for these guys to go. So like a guy like a Josh Simon, a Rocket Sanders, guys that should absolutely have their name called at some point. It's not being called because of that.
Yes and no. I think there's a couple factors that roll into this. Do I think the COVID year, the stuff like that, was a hindrance? Yes, in a sense. But also, I have to be 110% honest. I think this year was the first year I ever genuinely saw how valuable these workouts and these Senior Bowl, East-West Shrine Bowl, those situations are as when it comes to being drafted. Now,
I'm telling you,
both those guys tested fine, in my opinion. And once again, both those guys should have been drafted. Odie Fortune tested extremely well and did well in the All-Star game. Should have been drafted. You're going to have to ask GMs on that one. But I do feel like, even looking at Shedeur Sanders, if you don't participate in these things, it's going to hinder you more than it's going to help. So I think playing the games, because I think playing the games could have got Kyle Kennard higher.
Don't even get me started on that, man. Like
I think that could have gotten him higher.
Even going to the Clemson side of things, Jake Brendenstall opted out the last day, I believe, in the definitely the Senior Bowl game in itself. And to me, I'm like, why would you opt out? First of all, you do not have that stock built there. So why are you opting out, Jake? I didn't understand that at all. I thought that was incredibly dumb. For Kyle, for him to opt out, I didn't really understand it either because I look at how deep this defensive line class was this
It was
season.
crazy.
It absolutely was. And you look at the Senior Bowl, you saw how many guys were drafted in the first round for the Senior Bowl alone?
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, my goodness. So
Not gonna lie to you.
to me and my agent, if my agent say, hey man, I advise you to opt out this last day and then opt out the Senior Bowl, even though look around you. Like these guys and these other guys that they didn't opt out. And a couple of guys that got out that were drafted earlier than Kyle, they didn't opt out.
That's true.
So I'm a huge proponent on that. I'm a huge proponent on that.
I think you'll see more participation now.
Crazy.
I think you will definitely see more participation now.
Yeah.
You'll see more participation.
Agree. Especially the Senior Bowl, man. Like the Senior Bowl is the best of the best out there, man.
You'll see more participation, I think, within the next few years. So I'm intrigued to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah. Likewise, not as well. Moving on to the recruiting side of things, like I said, that takes care of the NFL draft, man. The only name I think we're waiting to hear back from is Delvon Campbell at this point to see where he goes. But
it's true.
Other than that, we'll just see what happens with that. Quarterback prospect Brady Smeagol, no really surprise there as he commits to Michigan after his official over there. That's a guy out there out of California. Doesn't bother me that much, man. Q, that's not your guy. That's not my guy either for this class, honestly. And
mine's
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
A Duckworth guy.
And that leaves with Landon Duckworth. And obviously, Ole Miss did get a guy already, but that could be learned more for a depth purpose. But don't tell him that, of course. Then you got Florida State. And then I think Georgia's still in the conversation, but I think it's going to come down to Jared Curtis for Georgia and Oregon. So
I think Georgia's going to end up getting him.
I mean, have to. I mean, he recently committed to him. Yeah, I don't see that changing personally.
No,
I don't see that.
I don't think so either.
Changing on that. And then South Carolina got some crystal balls recently, right? Some looks at, and then look at the kid from Dutch Fork. The kid from Dutch Fork, who was at the spring game with Carter Meadows.
Yeah,
5-star guy. Yes.
He's good.
What do you think about his game, man, over there at Dutch Fork? The 4-star out of Dutch Fork over there with Tom Knox.
Solid. He's a good run stopper. I think he's got good bend off the edge. I do believe he's going to keep rising in the rankings because Dutch Fork is a powerhouse and he's going to get the stats he needs to be successful there. So I personally believe it's going to work out well for him. Mm-hmm. I think we just need to lock him in. I think we'll lock him in by his official visit. Maybe before then, but I think by his official visit we'll lock him in.
Yeah, I like that. I could definitely see that. I could absolutely see that. Kim, before we wrap this thing up, I wanted to talk about the class of 2027. Okay.
Oh, that's a deep
I want to talk about that class, not just for 2027, but in the state of South Carolina 2027.
Class is deep.
I want to talk about that. So I'm going ahead. I'm on the great On3 right now, and I'm looking up South Carolina for 2027. Not as just players that are going to go to South Carolina, but players that are in South Carolina that potentially could land, over there. As I'm working with this, and I tell you, there are some absolute brutes in this class. I mean, absolute brutes. Like you look around, and it's like, man, Irmo's got a guy, right? Irmo's got a guy that
Nate
South
Carson
Carolina used to watch for.
Nate Carson is legit. Nate Carson is definitely one of those guys you want on your team.
Yeah,
they are definitely one.
All right, On3's being finicky, so we're taking over 247. Sorry, On3, you had one job. All right, here we go. Josh Dobson, nationally ranked 10-star, just around that 10th ranked area, about national 7 at a 4-star, right? But he's going to be a 5-star guy. Joshua Dobson out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. Quarterback 6'1", 175. That's a kid. South Carolina, Torian Gray. If you lock in the safety class, this season, right? Obviously, you've got Xavier Currents, right? You're looking at Tamari Lockett, right, out there in the upstate as well. Lock him down, and you get this cornerback, Joshua Dobson, for the next for 27, buddy.
Yeah, that boy can play.
Insane. Sequel Patterson, also Fort Mill, South Carolina. Another guy, possibly a 5-star guy when it's all said and done. Here's one, Jaden Bryant, 6'3" edge out of Irmo, South Carolina.
I like him.
Hey, the connections are all there, man.
Yeah, him and Carson really want to play together. It's not end all be all. It's not set in stone, but they definitely wouldn't mind playing together. They've said as much.
No, Seth Tillman, South Point strikes again. Top 100 guy right now, 4-star defensive lineman. Like that's a guy who's already 6'3", 256. And
the
this
class
is just
is
top
loaded.
5. I mean, Nate Carson, yes, he's a guy that he's 4-star guy. I mean, he's top 150, 6'4", 270. Shannon Harris, another guy, Burns High School. Haven't seen somebody come out of there in a while.
It's a long time, so it's about that time.
And it's just insane. And of course, Christian Jackson, a guy South Carolina needs to feel they're already in a great spot with. Christian Jackson, the 5'11" out of Ridgeview High School receiver, and this kid is good. He's really good.
Very
Parker
good.
White. Parker White put me on with him. Showed me he basically told me to look at his film, and this kid is solid. This kid is solid. AC put us on as well, of course, being his trainer, but I tell you, man, Parker White had this first. I'm going to tell you that right now. Parker White told me about this kid first. And then you look at David Segura, right? David Segura also out of Burns High School. Top 200 guy. Hell, Jaden Kelly Murray from Somerville is not bad. Jaden Kelly Murray, the wide receiver. I mean, and that's 10 guys. That's not even 10 guys.
That's what I'm saying. That class is deep.
I mean, good
27
Lord.
is deep. 27 is deep. It's a deep class.
And I'll tell you, Q, you know this as much as I do, because a certain school has recruited in-state and has made an in-state a priority, those coaches know.
Yeah.
Those coaches feel that love. And if you think that a certain team is going to just wake up and say, hey, we're going to start recruiting in-state and make it, everything's hunky-dory, not the way it's going to work. Not the way it's going to work.
It's facts.
I'm telling you.
That's facts. No, this is going to be a good class. 27 is going to be another deep class. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, the class is just absolutely insane, man. It's just filled with so much talent. So much talent across the board.
It is.
And looking at 26, obviously, South Carolina sits in some great spots to land some guys out there right now, man. And it's fun. Once you start winning, it gets fun. And
it's facts.
You're looking at a 9-win season this past season. You measure that up and having another close to the same season. Lenore Sellers, good God, if he even smells New York, buddy.
Hey, man, we're going to be in a good spot.
Good luck to everybody else. Good luck to everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to be in a good spot. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, as am I. IQ, we do need to take it to the hardwood. It's some unexpected commitment news out of Abu Yarma, a teammate of Eli Ellis down from Moravian Prep out of North Carolina. He is committed to South Carolina. He's alongside Eli Ellis and Hayden Simeon, the guy that we remember him committing to South Carolina before he joined Eli out there. But Yarma is a 6'7", 175 small forward. He's a small forward out of Roanoke, Virginia. So an interesting get out of there.
I wonder if he's going to be
thoughts about that.
I think he's going to be a walk on, but we'll see. Intrigued to see what he's going to end up being. But he's good.
I don't know if he's a walk on or not. Like I would imagine, but
who knows?
We'll
see.
That's
but I'm intrigued to see what his game's like. I got to do some research on him, but I think I'm going to see what his game's like. Intrigued to see what his game's like. See what he can do. Yeah. Can he contribute? Because I think everyone needs to be able to contribute this year to this team. After what happened last year, I think everyone needs to be able to contribute this year.
Yeah. It's Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of contributions need to happen through these players.
Correct.
We haven't really talked about some of the gets. We didn't talk about Mongolian Mike, right? We didn't talk about Mongolian Mike, you're right, and that's a guy solid, right? Pretty
Yeah.
solid guy out there. Good shooter, good size, good size.
Good IQ on the court.
Very
Runs
good
runs
IQ.
very much a Lamont Paris get for his system. Like he fits the system of what Lamont's trying to do.
Hmm.
I do agree with that, and I think that's going to help a lot. So is the guy we also got recently here too, a guy that was averaging double digits, and he also got double digits in the tournament. Out of I think he's near Australia or something like that.
Yeah,
But I can't think of his name to save my life right now. But he was a good get as well. 6'8". I think he's gonna play that stretch four position. Can shoot. Um, skilled four that can pass the ball, make things move. You got to have guys that can do those type things uh, religiously. So I think we're starting to get guys that fit the system of what Lamont's trying to do, which is going to help us in the long run.
hmm and dare I say, man, these freshmen that coming in are strong, man. I'm telling you, people, we've been on this wagon since it started. But Grant Polk,
Yeah, that boy can shoot.
don't sleep on that kid,
That
man.
boy can shoot.
Don't
That boy
sleep
can
on that
shoot.
kid, man.
Our boy
There,
Trey Kelly will tell you straight up. The boy can shoot, flat out
yeah.
shooter, flat out, and that's what
Hmm.
we're going to need for this team. So I think that's going to be huge for us.
Yeah, I do agree. We're getting to the final time with Colin Murray Boyles, man. He's going to hear his name called here not too long from now. Where do you got him? Where do you think he's going to go?
I think the 15 to 20 range. I'm
Yeah.
thinking the 15 to 20 range is where he's going to end up going. I want to see what he's doing at the combine. What does he do at the NBA combine? How does he test? How does he do? If he doesn't feel like he's doing enough, does he come back? I mean, we'll see. A lot of things are up in the air right now when it comes to Colin CMB, but I want to see what he does. I'm intrigued to see
Yeah.
what he does.
Yeah, we're not too far from long from that. The NBA Combine starts in May, so we're not
Hmm.
not too far on that. And obviously, I'm sure there's a door still open if Colin did want to return. Of
Oh,
course,
for
that would
sure.
obviously be swung open, obviously, but be really interesting to see where he ultimately lands. Really interesting to see where he ultimately lands. AQ, we got a couple of things going on, man, with the podcast. Obviously, we got our special guest on Thursday, DJ IAM, also known as the DJ for South Carolina basketball. He DJ with Darude, so we're gonna have that story. Gonna get to talk about that. That's gonna be fun. And he's got a good relationship with a lot of guys, man. GG Jackson being one of them,
Hmm.
and he's just connected through the state. He's really connected. He's got really good connections. So we'll kind of see more about his relationships and kind of who he talks with, and that's gonna be a fun one. I'm
Yeah, that's gonna be a
excited.
good
We
one.
never,
Yeah, we've never done that, so I think it's gonna be good. I think that's gonna be good.
yeah, it's gonna be fun, and there may be some changes happening around the Welcome Home podcast soon, and that's gonna be fun. So once we reveal that, once we can officially reveal that, that's gonna be good
It's gonna be
news
dope.
coming down
It's
the
gonna be
line.
dope. I can't wait. It's gonna be dope.
I think
Long time coming.
yeah, yeah, it's been a very long time coming.
Yeah. So I'm
It's been a
excited for that.
very yeah. I
Excited for
can't
that.
wait myself. I can't wait myself. So a lot of great things coming. Q, do you got anything else before we wrap up the show, my guy?
Nah. I think we're good. We're good. Just keep rocking with us, y'all, and keep spreading the word and get more people in. So that's our goal is keep continue to spread the word, get more people in.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't yet, please vote for us in that Free Times Best of Columbia for the best podcast in Columbia, South Carolina, or at least nominate us. Obviously, the nominations are happening right now. Go in there at Free Times. You do that Best of Columbia nominations. You just nominate the Welcome Home Podcast as your best podcast in Columbia, South Carolina. And once the nominations hit, whoever gets nominated there, they'll start pulling them out, and then we start voting. That's when everybody gets to vote. And I'm looking to repeat, be a two-time champ with the best Twitter in Columbia, South Carolina. That'd be fun. Have that title again. Be always fun. So guys, just keep rocking with us. Like you said, like things are coming, big things, big things, and I can't say that enough. I really can't. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you rate and review the show. Things are only getting bigger. The guests are getting bigger.
Hmm.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So strap in because things are about to get really, really interesting and a lot of fun here soon. But guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in live at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify. We appreciate you watching the show live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X, all that good stuff there. You can rate and review the show at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify. Shows are Monday and Thursday. Always, every week, we're always here for you. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Peace.